Welcome to practice. We're here to just pause, but before, we're going to just breathe. So kind of a tag team in our sequence. Just breathe. I want to cultivate some heat based on a theme from Jungi's book of adding fuel to the fire, or adding wood to the fire. And what he means by that, I'm going to read, he says, when we add wood to the fire, instead of trying to smother our flames, the flames of our fears, we add more fuel. And in the process, gain confidence in our capacity to work with whatever settings we find ourselves in. We no longer avoid situations that have disturbed us in the past, or that evoke destructive patterns or emotional outbursts. We begin to rely on another aspect of the mind that exists beneath our reactivity. We call this no self. It's the unconditioned awareness that reveals itself with the dissolution of the chattering mind and talks to itself throughout the day. In other words, we're switching mental gears from our normal awareness into the deeper meditative awareness. In the language of the everyday life, we're moving from observation into witness. And maybe from non-observation, numb habitual behaviors, into greater observation. So depending on where you begin will determine where you go next. So let's breathe and add a little wood to the fire. In other words, a little belly work to our breathing in order to stoke that digestive fire of processing our stories, of bringing the heat up to help convert those challenges and problems into the gifts for transformation. So welcome this breath by settling into a calm, abiding, steady posture, a grounded asana, a fluid pranayama, to welcome that breath in and out. And as you're aware of the movement of the breath, begin to direct it in and out the nose. Krama by krama, step by step, we build the complexity of the practice. Not because complex is better, but because layering these things together strengthens our capacity to be with two things at once: breath and body, mind and story, effort and ease. And the breath has landed in and out through the nose. Redirect the attention to the dirga, to the expansion of the belly. And just like this idea of krama by krama, maybe it's just the belly opening. If you've practiced Durga, you might slide right into the progression of belly, ribs, and chest. Creating these mini landing points, focusing to the belly, the ribs, and the chest, is really just a way to harness the mind's energy. It's still one breath. It's still a constant flow. No beginning and no end. And yet, By practicing and harnessing our attention into the pause, we can elongate the pause, thereby creating space to choose, to separate the observation from the judgment, the sensation from the story. So as you pump the breath through the diaphragm, where is there perhaps already in your life as it is today, wood being added to the fire, extra responsibility, maybe more hurdles or obstacles or interruptions to the way in which you do the things? Where is there already wood being added? And if, for whatever reason, today there's an ease about you, about your way, you can choose to add more wood by directing your attention to hard things. Maybe there's a story that's yet to be digested. Maybe there's a wound, literally a physical ailment, a pain, or an emotional one, a relationship that is in turmoil, in sorrow, in suffering. And we dedicate this breath practice to that suffering as a way in which to befriend the circumstances in order to turn them from problem into fuel for our transformation. The ujjayi in the pelvic floor, that lifting dharma breath, as I like to call this, efforting breath. Last ujjayi breath, dharma breath, or effort breath. And then Kapalabhati, skull polishing breath, belly pumping, really burning through that contractive nature of the belly, right? So start slow, increase as you are comfortable, stop and begin again at any time. The belly is fatigued. And the throat is rough or raw. Or there's just less smooth transition. Release that pranayama. Notice what you notice. Feel what you feel. So that Dharma breath, that progressive Durga with effort on the exhale, meaning 3-part effort on the inhale to expand, drawing in 3 diaphragms, exhale. We're efforting on both the inhale and the exhale. Then with the Kapalabhati, we're focusing entirely on that forced exhale and a passive inhale, cultivating perhaps a little more trust that our efforts will be rewarded with that next breath. So now maintaining that effort of a little bit of a higher pace, a little bit of higher effort, adding wood to this fire that is our breath practice. Bastrika, like the Durga with that pelvic floor squeeze, is going to use both the effort on the inhale and the effort on the exhale. Option to add the movement of the arms, not only to help ground this breath in the body, but to incorporate some movement. So the Bastrika is an inhale and an exhale, as quickly, as evenly as you can. We'll do about 10 rounds. Bastrika or bellows breath, adding the oxygen, the effort of that forced, even in and out breath, building the fuel by way of oxygen for the fire that is our digestion, allowing for our transformation, healing, and growth. Easing out, back to a comfortable in and out breath. And close with a bow and a blessing. Welcoming the effort that is living as the invitation to growing and becoming. May you breathe deeply, move freely, labor lovingly, and live vibrantly. Namaste. Thanks for just breathing with me. If you can stay, please readjust your sit, right? It may be helpful just to reverse the crisscross of your legs or change the posture so you can sustain here with a fresh start.